Hey YouTube, Ethan here. This is a short episode showing off the gold Volcano cooling setup that I'm using. This is a simple setup that requires very little material and minimal steel. As we cycle through the overlays, we can understand how this setup works. The inside of the chamber is very hot, but it is being actively cooled by the steam turbine in a recirculation loop. Below the Volcano is a stack of metal tiles. Currently, these tiles are cooled to around 20 degrees Celsius, and this is what will cool our gold. The cooling loop itself is very simple. The aqua tuner keeps the water in the pipes below 20 degrees, and there is a bypass if the water is already cooler when it reaches the sensor, so it does not need to pass through the aqua tuner and potentially freeze or waste power. The radiant pipes keep the turbine at operating temperatures, and they cool the metal tiles, which in turn cools anything passing through the conveyor rails. At the end of the conveyor system, there is a temperature sensor, which will turn off the chute for the conveyor system when the temperature of the material is too high, and it will only open the chute once the material is cool enough to pass through. So let's turn on the loader and watch how the gold is cooled as it passes through. You can see that the gold enters at above 100 degrees and exits at below 20. As the tiles heat up and can no longer cool the gold fast enough to keep up with the pace of the conveyor, the temperature sensor stops dropping the gold and waits for the rest of the material to cool. Now we have refined gold at a safe temperature to use anywhere within our base. For this setup to work, you will need to have steel, build a chamber large enough for all the equipment that you see on the screen, vacuum out the chamber, and give yourself a liquid lock that is not water so you can access it in the future. Water will evaporate in this temperature, and vacuuming out the room is essential for your steam turbines to work correctly. And lastly, you want to build roughly the same conveyor and piping setup. You can make it much larger or smaller, and the system will work more efficiently relative to the size of the setup. You can also use crude oil or petroleum in your cooling loop, and those liquids can be cooled to much cooler than polluted water or salt water at the cost of using more power. I hope you find this helpful. This is Ethan on YouTube, and I'll see you guys next time.